Government doing everything possible toward holding a transparent election. Consequence of any attempt to foil election will not be good, says Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina.
নির্বাচনে আসেন কার কত দৌড় আমরা সেটা দেখি, জনগণ কাকে চায় সেটা আমরা যাচাই করে দেখি। নির্বাচন বানচাল করার চেষ্টা কেউ করবেন না, করলে সেটা ভালো হবে না, তার পরিণতিও ভালো হবে না।
Awami League finalizes nominations for Rajshahi and Rangpur divisions for the upcoming parliamentary election. Complete list of candidates to be made public on Saturday, informs Obaidul Qadir. Journalists should highlight BNP's attacks and burning of vehicles in the name of movement, says Dr. Hassan Mahmood. Cabinet Division issues 3 directives to facilitate holding a fair election. Much awaited tickets for Dhaka-Cox's Bazar trains are now available as tickets for December 1, 2 and 3 sold today. Qatar says truce between Israel and Hamas begin tomorrow with 13 hostages to be released from Gaza on the first day. And India now batting against Australia with victory target of 209 runs in the first T20 of 5-match series. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to News at 10. This is Faria Dilshad Mo with you. Those were the highlights. Now let's move on to the news in details.
বর্তমান অস্ত্র প্রতিযোগিতা নিয়ন্ত্রণ করার জন্য জরুরি ব্যবস্থা গ্রহণ করা দরকার। অস্ত্র প্রতিযোগিতা হ্রাস করা সম্ভব হলে অর্থনৈতিক সংকট দূর করার উপযোগী পরিবেশই শুধু গড়ে উঠবে না, এই প্রতিযোগিতায় যেসব বিপুল সম্পদ অপচয় হচ্ছে তা মানব জাতির সাধারণ কল্যাণে নিয়োগ করা সম্ভব হবে।
Prime Minister and Awami League President Sheikh Hasina has urged BNP to participate in the 12th national election slated for January 7 to examine whom the people want to see in power. Let's join the election to see how far one can run and to know whom the people want to see in power, she said. The Prime Minister was delivering her introductory speech ahead of Awami League's Parliamentary Nomination Board meeting at the party's Dhaka district office in city's Tejka area to finalize the party's candidates of Rajshahi, Khulna and Rangpur divisions. She also sounded a note of warning against any move to foil the election. Don't try to thwart the election. If anyone does so, the consequence will not be good, she warned. The Premier called upon other political parties to participate in the next election.
এই হরতাল, অবরোধ এবং অগ্নি সন্ত্রাসের বিরুদ্ধে জনগণকে রুখে দাঁড়াতে হবে। যেখানেই দেখবেন যে কেউ অগ্নি সন্ত্রাস করতে চেষ্টা করছে, বাসে, গাড়িতে, যেখানে যদি কেউ আগুন দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করে, সাথে সাথে এদেরকে ধরতে হবে। আমরা বলবো না যে আইন আপনার হাতে তুলে নেন, কিন্তু এদেরকে ধরে গ্রেপ্তার করতে হবে, ধরতে হবে এবং পুলিশের হাতে ধরিয়ে দিতে হবে। কাজে এ ব্যাপারে যদি জনগণ যখন প্রতিরোধ গড়ে তুলবে, ওদের ওই মুসলিম সন্ত্রাসী চোরাগুপ্তা যাই করুক, ওগুলিও আমরা ঠিকই তদন্ত করে ধরে ফেলবো। নির্বাচন বানচাল করার চেষ্টা কেউ করবেন না, করলে সেটা ভালো হবে না, তার পরিণতিও ভালো হবে না, এটাও বাস্তবতা। যখন বিএনপি তার মিছিল মিটিং করছিল, ভদ্রভাবে রাজনীতি করছিল, তাদের উপর মানুষের কিন্তু আস্থা ফিরে আসছিল। তখন কিন্তু তারা মানুষের একটা সমর্থন পাচ্ছিল। জমায়েতও ভালো করছিল, অনেক টাকা পয়সা খরচ করছিল, এটা ঠিক, কিন্তু জমায়েতও ভালো করছিল। যেই তারা আবার সেই অগ্নিসন্ত্রাস শুরু করেছে, পুলিশ পিটিয়ে মেরেছে, মানুষ পিটিয়ে মেরেছে, মানুষের গায়ে আগুন দিয়েছে, বাসে আগুন দিয়েছে, ট্রেনে আগুন দিয়েছে, যখন এই অগ্নিসন্ত্রাস এবং মানুষ বিচারপতির বাড়িতে হামলা করেছে, জজদের উপরে হামলা করেছে, সাংবাদিক, পুলিশ, আনসার, সাধারণ মানুষ, এদের উপর যখন হামলা করতে শুরু করলো আর পোড়াও জ্বালা শুরু করলো, আবার তারা কিন্তু সেই আগের জায়গায় ফিরে গেছে। জনবিচ্ছিন্ন সন্ত্রাসী সংগঠন হিসেবেই আবার তারা জনগণের কাছে চলে এসেছে। এই সন্ত্রাসী হিসেবেই এখন তারা আবার পরিচয় পেয়েছে, তারা স্বরূপে এখন বিরাজমান।
The Awami League finalized its candidates for Rajshahi and Rangpur divisions to take part in the 12th parliamentary election. The decision came at a meeting of Awami League Parliamentary Nomination Board held with its president Sheikh Hasina in the chair today. The meeting was held at Awami League's Dhaka district office in the capital Tejgah. Later, Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Qadir told journalists the final list of all the candidates for all divisions will be published tomorrow or day after tomorrow.
আজকে দুটি বিভাগ রংপুরে 33, রাজশাহীতে 36, 69টি আসনের ব্যাপারে সিদ্ধান্ত হয়েছে। তবে আমরা পুরোপুরি সব বিভাগের মনোনয়ন শেষ হওয়া পর্যন্ত ফল প্রকাশ করব। আমরা একসঙ্গে আমাদের মনোনয়ন ঘোষণা করব আনুষ্ঠানিকভাবে। 25 তারিখে আমরা মনোনয়ন প্রকাশ করতে পারি। আজকে আমাদের যে মনোনয়ন বোর্ডের সিদ্ধান্ত হয়েছে এর মধ্যে আমাদের মতো রাজনীতির বাইরের কেউ এখানে আসবে পরবর্তীতে কিছু কিছু বাদ পড়েছে। তরুণরা গুরুত্ব তো পাবে, কিন্তু আমরা সবচেয়ে বেশি গুরুত্ব দিচ্ছি জনগণের কাছে প্রার্থীর গ্রহণযোগ্যতা। আমরা কারোর জন্য কিছু রাখিনি, আমাদেরটা নিয়েই আমরা প্রশ্ন করছি। আমরা 2 বিভাগের মনোনয়ন অলরেডি কমপ্লিট করেছি, এখানে কারোর জন্য কোনো আসন অপেক্ষা করছে। আমরা সব আসনে মনোনয়ন দিয়েছি। জনগণ এই নির্বাচনকে গ্রহণ করেছে, যে কারণে সারা দেশে একটা উৎসবমুখর পরিবেশ দৃশ্যমান।
Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhary has said backward children and children lagging behind should be promoted through the collective initiative of the government as well as private and individuals. She said this while addressing as chief guest the Special Children's Sports Festival 2023 organized by Shonge Achi Foundation at Birganj in Rangpur today. Director of the organization, Qazi Azizul Islam Makhun, chaired the function. Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhary said Bangladesh government has constructed Subarno Bhavan at Mirpur in the capital on 2010 and launched 2 apps for students of special needs. She called upon the parents to be sympathetic towards children with special needs. Later, Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhary distributed prizes among the students who participated in various events of different schools dealing with intellectually handicapped and autistic children at Birganj in Rangpur. Information and Broadcasting Minister and Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Hassan Mahmood called upon journalists to ride against arson attacks on people, vehicles and assets by BNP cadres following online announcements from caves in the name of movements. He made the call today while inaugurating the new office for Bangladesh Journalist Welfare Trust founded by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Checks of financial assistance were distributed at the function.
আজকে যে আন্দোলনের নামে ওই গুহা থেকে বের হয়ে একটু করে অনলাইনে চেহারা দেখিয়ে কর্মসূচি ঘোষণার নামে গাড়ি ঘোড়া পোড়ানো, আগুন সন্ত্রাস চালানো, মানুষের উপর বোমা নিক্ষেপের কর্মসূচি ঘোষণা করা হচ্ছে, এটির বিরুদ্ধে দয়া করে আপনারা কলম ধরুন, কথা বলুন। এটি কোনো রাজনৈতিক দলের কাজ হতে পারে না, এটি কোনো রাজনৈতিক কর্মসূচি নয়। এবং তারা ভেবেছিল এগুলো করে যে নির্বাচনটাকে ঠেকিয়ে দিবে। এখন দেখা যাচ্ছে তাদের জোট থেকেও সবাই পালিয়ে যাচ্ছে। আসুন সবাই মিলে দেশটাকে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যায়। এই অগ্নিসন্ত্রাস নৈরাজ্যের হাত থেকে, তাদের হাত থেকে রক্ষা করি। আমাদের সরকার আগুন সন্ত্রাসী, নৈরাজ্য সৃষ্টিকারী, দেশ বিরোধী অপশক্তিকে নির্মূল করতে বদ্ধপরিকর।
The Information and Broadcasting Minister focused on the incidents of torture on journalists during the BNP Jamaat rule.
28 অক্টোবর 32 জন সাংবাদিককে পিটিয়ে আহত করা হয়েছে। একজন সাংবাদিককে টানা হেঁচড়া করে মাটিতে ফেলে তাকে পিটানো হয়েছে, পরে অন্যরা এসে রক্ষা করেছে। সাপকে যেভাবে মারে এভাবে মানুষকে মারে না। এবং এই সাংবাদিকদের মধ্যে, এই 32 জনের মধ্যে 20 জনের বেশি হচ্ছে বিএনপি বিটের সাংবাদিক, অর্থাৎ তারা সবসময় বিএনপির সমাবেশে যায় এবং বিএনপির খবর সংগ্রহ করে সেটি পরিবেশন করে। তাদেরকে তারা চিনে, এরা বিএনপি বিটের সাংবাদিক, তাদেরকেও মেরেছে। এরপরে বিএনপি বিটের সাংবাদিকতার জন্য কাউকে পাঠালে তাদের মনের অবস্থা কি হবে আমি জানি না। সাংবাদিকদের উপর শুধু 28 তারিখে যে তারা নির্যাতন চালিয়েছে তা নয়, তারা যখন ক্ষমতায় ছিল তখন বহু সাংবাদিক, খুলনার হুমায়ুন কবির বালু, মানিক সাহা, যশোরের সাইফুল ইসলাম মুকুল, শামসুর রহমান কেবল, আরো বহুজনকে তারা হত্যা করেছে।
Director General of the Department of Films and Publications S.M. Golam Kibriya, Principal Information Officer Shahinur Mia, President of Jatiyo Press Club Farida Yasmin and General Secretary Shamul Dotto among others were present at the function. Managing Director of Bangladesh Journalist Welfare Trust Subhash Chandra Badal presided over the function. President of Bangladesh Federal Union of Journalists Omar Farooq and Secretary General Deep Azad also spoke. Earlier, Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood inaugurated the new office for Bangladesh Journalist Welfare Trust founded by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Meanwhile, Information and Broadcasting Minister and Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Hassan Mahmood joined the triennial conference of Rangunia Upazila Motshujibi League at Advocate Nur Shafa Talukdar Auditorium of Rangunia Municipality in Chattogram as the chief guest. Chattogram North District Motshujibi League President M. Harunur Rashid inaugurated the conference. General Secretary of Chattogram North District Motshujibi League Muhammad Shafiul Alam was the main speaker. Speaking on the occasion, Dr. Hassan Mahmood questioned, is there no people to unlock the BNP office? How will they protest? Presided over by Rangunia Upazila Motshujibi League convener M. Iskandar Mia Talukdar, the conference was addressed among others by Upazila Chairman Shajun Kumar Talukdar, Municipality Mayor Shahjahan Shikdar, General Secretary of Rangunia Upazila Awami League Engineer Shamsul Alam Talukdar, and leaders of Chattogram North District Awami League. Later in the evening, Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood Later in the evening, Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood addressed the extended meeting of Rangunia Upazila Awami League as the chief guest. Information and Broadcasting Minister and Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Hassan Mahmood gave various instructions and organizational guidelines ahead of the upcoming 12th parliamentary elections. Leaders of Upazila Awami League and leaders of Union and Ward Awami League under Chattogram 7 parliamentary constituency were present in the meeting. The Cabinet Division has directed all the ministries and departments, including the officers, employees, teachers of the government, semi-government, autonomous, semi-autonomous and private offices, institutions, organizations to carry out their electoral duties with honesty, devotion and impartiality. 2 letters signed by Cabinet Secretary Muhammad Mahbub Hussain had been sent to the concerned parties yesterday. Instructions given in the letter include immediate instructions to their subordinate officers and employees from various ministries, departments and directorates, departments, organizations to provide support and cooperation to the Election Commission by impartially carrying out the duties assigned to them in accordance with the laws and regulations. Similar instructions are issued from the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Primary and Mass Education to teachers working in government, government-aided and private educational institutions. In order to ensure the continuity of election management, all ministries, departments, government, semi-government, autonomous offices, institutions, organizations and all their officials and employees involved in the election are not to be given leave or transferred to another place until the end of the election or election duties. Besides, the officials or employees of those institutions will have to refrain from performing any duties that may be disruptive. It is requested to provide all assistance in free, fair and impartial elections by completing the ancillary tasks as mentioned in the letter. জাতীয় সমাজতান্ত্রিক দল JSD started interviewing the nomination seekers and scrutinizing the nomination forms ahead of the next parliamentary election to be held on January 7. The interview of the nomination aspirants began after the meeting of the party's parliamentary nomination board today at the party's central office in the capital. JSD President Hassanul Haq Inu and General Secretary Shirin Akhtar, among other central leaders, were present. Hassanul Haq Inu urged all political parties to participate in the polls, shunning the path of arson terrorism like BNP Jamaat in the name of a movement to spoil the national election. Jatiyo Party has extended the deadline for the sale of nomination papers to Friday. As of today, the party has already sold 1,737 nomination forms. The party had scheduled interviews with nomination seekers at the party chairperson's office at Bonani in Dhaka starting from Friday. On Wednesday, Jatiyo Party officially declared its participation in the upcoming national election scheduled for January 7. Supporters of BNP Jamaat torched a bus of Ajmeri Poribohon in front of the Bijayanagar water tank in the capital this afternoon amid the blockade called by BNP Jamaat and like-minded parties. Acting on information, 2 fire service units rushed to the spot and extinguished the fire. BNP Jamaat men also set fire to 2 covered vans on the Dhaka-Mymensingh highway at Shalna in Ghazipur city early today. On the other hand, unidentified miscreants set on fire to a coach of the intercity Upabon Express, which was parked at Sylhet railway station around 10 p.m. yesterday. Meanwhile, 428 teams of RAB are patrolling across the country, including 142 in the capital Dhaka to maintain law and order. On the other hand, 233 platoons BGB have been deployed throughout the country and adequate BGB personnel are on standby.
মাঝে মাঝে আমি নিজেকে প্রশ্ন করি, এই সিগারেট বা বিড়িটি খেলে আমার কি ক্ষতি হবে? স্ট্রোকে চলৎ শক্তি হারিয়ে আমি আমার পরিবারের উপরে বোঝা হয়ে দাঁড়াবো না তো? ফুসফুসের ক্যান্সার হয় যদি, কিংবা মুখের ক্যান্সার, অথবা হার্টের অসুখ, বা গলার ক্যান্সার, কিংবা তীব্র শ্বাসকষ্ট, এরপর থেকে যখনই সিগারেট বা বিড়ি খাওয়ার কথা মাথায় আসবে, একবার হলেও নিজেকে অবশ্যই জিজ্ঞেস করুন, এই সিগারেট বা বিড়িটি খেলে আমার কি ক্ষতি হবে? তামাক ছাড়ুন আজই। মাঝে মাঝে আমি নিজেকে প্রশ্ন করি, এই সিগারেট বা বিড়িটি খেলে আমার কি ক্ষতি হবে? স্ট্রোকে চলৎ শক্তি হারিয়ে আমি আমার পরিবারের উপরে বোঝা হয়ে দাঁড়াবো না তো? ফুসফুসের ক্যান্সার হয় যদি, কিংবা মুখের ক্যান্সার, অথবা হার্টের অসুখ, বা গলার ক্যান্সার, কিংবা তীব্র শ্বাসকষ্ট, এরপর থেকে যখনই সিগারেট বা বিড়ি খাওয়ার কথা মাথায় আসবে, একবার হলেও নিজেকে অবশ্যই জিজ্ঞেস করুন, এই সিগারেট বা বিড়িটি খেলে আমার কি ক্ষতি হবে? তামাক ছাড়ুন আজই।
Now moving on to international news. Qatar says truce between Israel and Hamas begin tomorrow with 13 hostages to be released from Gaza on the first day. Qatar announced key details of the planned pause in fighting and release of hostages held by Israel and Hamas. An official says the temporary ceasefire will begin at 7 a.m. local time on Friday and that the first group of 13 hostages will be freed at 4 p.m. The pause in fighting was initially due to start earlier, but an Israeli government source told the media that Hamas had made extra demands. In the first phase of the agreement, Hamas is due to release 50 hostages from Gaza, and Israel will free 150 Palestinian detainees. In other developments from the war, the director of Al-Shifa Hospital in North Gaza has been detained by Israeli authorities for questioning. Israel says it's found evidence showing that the hospital under his management was a Hamas command center, something Hamas itself has long denied. Israel began attacking Gaza after the Hamas attacks last month, which killed 1,200 people and saw about 240 taken hostage. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry says more than 14,000 people have been killed in Israel's retaliatory campaign. US President Joe Biden spoke with the leaders of Egypt, Israel, and Qatar Wednesday. The White House said his first publicly announced talks with them since a hostage deal was announced between Israel and Hamas. Biden and his government negotiated through Qatar and Egypt to arrange the deal, in which Hamas will free at least 50 hostages and Israel will release scores of Palestinian prisoners while offering a 4-day truce to war-battered Gaza. Biden and Qatar Amir Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani committed to remain in close contact to ensure the deal is fully implemented, the White House said in a readout of the call. In his call with Netanyahu, the president assured the Israeli Prime Minister that he will continue working to secure the release of all remaining hostages. Meanwhile, Biden told Sisi that under no circumstances will the United States permit the forced relocation of Palestinians from Gaza or the West Bank or the redrawing of the borders of Gaza, while also affirming that Gaza cannot remain a sanctuary for Hamas. The US President also affirmed his commitment to the establishment of a Palestinian state, reports said. A US warship patrolling the Red Sea intercepted multiple attack drones launched from Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen on Thursday. The US Central Command said the ship and crew sustained no damage or injury. The Houthis have declared themselves part of the axis of resistance of Iran's allies and proxies and have launched a series of drones and missiles towards Israel after the start of the war in Gaza. The Houthis have also threatened to target Israeli shipping over the country's war with Islamist group Hamas, which is backed by Iran's clerical leadership. North Korea has ripped up a 5-year-old deal with Seoul aimed at lowering military tensions in the latest escalation of a row between the two. It all started when Pyongyang claimed to have successfully launched a spy satellite into space on Tuesday. This led to South Korea to suspend the agreement, saying it would resume surveillance flights along the border. Pyongyang is now vowing to fully suspend the pact and send stronger forces and equipment to the border. It promised to withdraw all measures taken to prevent military conflict in all spheres, including ground, sea, and air, and to deploy more powerful armed forces and new type military hardware in the border region. Seoul strongly condemned the launch, and on Wednesday morning, top officials agreed to immediately restart surveillance operations along the border, which would allow the South to monitor North Korean outposts and long-range artillery. That is a breach of a no-fly zone established under the Comprehensive Military Agreement in 2018, signed by both nations' leaders in an attempt to de-escalate tensions between their two countries and prevent a conflict erupting. A car erupted into a fireball at a US-Canada checkpoint near Niagara Falls on Wednesday, killing the two occupants, triggering border closures and sparking a massive security alert on the eve of Thanksgiving Day, a major US holiday. New York Governor Kathy Hochul confirmed the 2 fatalities in the blast at the checkpoint 400 miles northwest of New York City and said nothing pointed to a terrorist attack. Witnesses described seeing a car traveling at high speed before it crashed into a checkpoint barrier and exploded into flames. The explosion happened at the major Rainbow Bridge crossing near Niagara Falls, with nothing left of the vehicle, which was incinerated except for the engine. Authorities on both sides of the border activated emergency responses, and images showed access roads to the crossing swarming with emergency service workers and vehicles. Now some other international news in brief. The World Health Organization (WHO) has asked Beijing for more information on an outbreak of mysterious pneumonia in northern China that appears mostly to be affecting children.
Amongst the teachers. Some observers speculate the outbreak.
New Zealand's incoming Conservative Prime Minister said Thursday that an agreement to form a 3-party coalition government had been reached 40 days after the country went to the polls.
With New Zealand's first to form a government, Labour was re-elected in 2012.
Ambulances were on standby Thursday morning as Indian rescuers dug through the final meters of debris separating them from 41 workers trapped in a collapsed road tunnel for nearly 2 weeks.
Efforts to bring the men out have been slowed by snags in drilling in the mountainous.
Australian firefighters Thursday battled a runway bushfire that has incinerated 10 homes and forced scores of people to evacuate in the northern outskirts of Perth during a fierce heatwave.
So dry, explodes. It's very, very terrifying.
Blue whales, the largest animals on Earth, are making their home in a part of the Indian Ocean where they were wiped out by whaling decades ago. A year of underwater audio recording revealed the animals spent months in the region. This means they could be breeding there, scientists say. Back to the national news. The sale of advance tickets for train journey on Dhaka-Cox's Bazar route has kicked off. The selling began at 8 in the morning at countries and online at a time. Tickets for December 1, 2 and 3 were given today. Almost 90% tickets out of approximately 2,500 tickets were sold out online. All the advance tickets for 3 days were sold out within 2 or 3 hours. The price for Shobhun chair is Taka 695, while the price for AC chair is Taka 1,325. However, for the time being, there is no facility for cabins and AC berths. The Cox's Bazar Express will begin its journey on 1st December with 13 compartments. Dengue situation is not in improving trend in Bangladesh, as 7 died during last 24 hours. A press release of the Director General of Health Services said among the dead, 5 were in Dhaka and 2 were outside Dhaka. 1,094 dengue patients were admitted to different hospitals across the country during the last 24 hours. Among them, 253 dengue patients were hospitalized in Dhaka city and 841 patients outside Dhaka. Now news on weather. Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said weather may remain dry with temporary partly cloudy sky over the country. Night and day temperature may remain nearly unchanged over the country. Meanwhile, a low pressure area is likely to form over South Andaman Sea and adjoining area around 26 November. It is likely to intensify further, said the Met Office. Now news on sports. India are now batting against Australia to chase the victory target of 209 runs in the first T20 of 5-match series in Visakhapatnam. India scored 124 runs for 2 wickets in 12 overs when reports loss came in. earlier, Australia batted first and scored 208 runs for 3 wickets. Josh English scored 110 runs and Stephen Smith scored 52 runs for the Aussies. To end the bulletin headlines once again. Government doing everything possible toward holding a transparent election. Consequence of any attempt to foil election will not be good, says Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Awami League finalizes nominations for Rajshahi and Rangpur divisions for the upcoming parliamentary election. Complete list of candidates to be made public on Saturday, informs Obaidul Qadir. Journalists should highlight BNP's attacks and burning of vehicles in the name of movement, says Dr. Hassan Mahmood. Cabinet Division issues 3 directives to facilitate holding a fair election. Much awaited tickets for Dhaka-Cox's Bazar trains are now available as tickets for December 1, 2 and 3 sold today. Qatar says truce between Israel and Hamas begin tomorrow with 13 hostages to be released from Gaza on the first day. And India now batting against Australia with victory target of 200 runs in the first T20 of 5-match series. That was all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for joining us. Dear viewers, we request you all please keep your home set neat and clean and stay safe from dengue, and we invite you to watch our